my presentation of learning by Mahina Smith. So in this presentation, I'll be answering the essential question of what did I learn this semester? When Tori and her friends rescue a dog from an animal testing facility, they catch a mutated strain of parvovirus, which leaves them with lasting effects. When they stumble onto a cold case murder, can they use their newfound skills to help them solve it? So curiosity and imagination. In the book, Tori and her friends use their curiosity and imagination to help them solve the murder case. And in our transportation infographic, we had to use our imagination to create our infographic and to be curious about our separate topics. This project was different than last year because last year we would have been working side by side with each other the entire project, but this year we each had our own topic which we researched individually, but it still had to fit together perfectly in the end. You can see this in my pictures. So this was my individual one, but that I researched and made myself, but it fit together perfectly with everybody else's in our final. Stang's mother has abused her with punishments her entire life, making her drink a mixture of lemon juice and vinegar, making her kneel on rice for hours, or leaving her in the shower to be burnt by scorching hot water. So it's not surprising that when she meets a strange group of boys that want to invite her into their family, she is not quick to trust them. But she has to learn that family is a choice. Trust is a choice. Teamwork. So I'm kind of a controlling person, if you don't know me. And I have like a small group of friends that I trust completely. So during the Civil War project, I was partnered with somebody who was out of my trust zone. I didn't know if I would be able to rely on them to do their work. So I solved this problem the wrong way by doing their work and my work, or obsessively nagging them throughout the entire project. But that didn't work out very well because I would stay up till like 3 in the morning doing both our work, or he would be getting text messages like 24/7. So I had to release control and learn that trust is a choice. So this is my first draft. And by the end of the project, I think we were both doing 50-50, so I think that was good. Yeah. This was my first draft, and you can see it didn't look that great without our, then it wouldn't have worked out well in a silhouette. But when we combined both our designs, like his was the doctor shooting the wheelchair patient, it looked a lot better, and I think that's a great example of how we both contributed to this project. Matt Long used to be a firefighter in New York, but then he was hit by a bus. Well, he was a first responder in the 9/11 attacks, and then he was hit by a bus. He was given a 5% chance of living, but he pulled through. There were times where he wanted to die because he used to be that big, strong man, and now he was reduced to a wheelchair for a while. But he never gave in, never gave up, and he learned that he always had to keep moving forward. This was the biography. It's really good. I would recommend it. So from this, I learned perseverance. I know it's really shallow of me to compare doing a project to being hit by a bus, because but this was the best example of perseverance I could find. This project, so the Desmos art project, where I'm still working on it, but it was particularly hard for me because I'm kind of a perfectionist, and well, when something isn't perfect, I kind of freak out, and it's very frustrating. So I had to make a separate linear equation for each line on my project, and it made me kind of want to cry sometimes. I learned that asking your peers for help is a really good support system, like Matt in the book. He relied on his family and friends to help support him, and I learned to never give in, never gave up. So as you all know, we started out with these simple drawings, and then we moved on to harder ones. This is my art, and as you can see, I had to make a separate linear equation for each line. I'm still working on it, but that's about as far as I got right now. So Cal knows all too well that parts of fairy tales are real. Little Red Riding Hood's a fake, but there certainly is a big bad wolf. No obnoxiously cute tots walking through the forest, but there definitely is a child-eating witch hiding out in there. Cal knows this because he is one. Well, half of one. His father was a creature that would love to pull the still beating heart out of all living creatures' bodies. Cal has spent his entire life trying to ignore the genetic urges his father passed down to him, but lately they've been getting so strong that he can no longer ignore them. He has to learn to control them. So, lesson number 4, managing self-demons. So, in the book, Cal is the antagonist and the protagonist most of the time. And I think there's some non-supernatural merit to that. There's good and bad in everyone. I am prone to laziness and distraction. I learned this in my bike project, which was also AKA understanding charge flow and building our motor. I learned to prioritize work and that I need to step up to the plate when I'm working with my teammates. I can't just let them do all the work. I frequently ask when building our motor, is there more I can do? And I think when they give me assignments, that gives me a chance to focus my energy on something other than like fooling around. I want to prioritize my work so I have the most time so I can submit my best work. So we learn new and exciting things. Like you can see Brianne with the motor. She was kind of dubious about it, but then she really liked it. And then this is our schematic diagram, us working on as a team, except Brianne was absent that day, but oh well. This is Justin working on our bike and our field trip to the airport. Ascend by Amanda Hawking. Wendy's mother has just died, making her the new queen. Now she has to make the choices for an entire country. When she was princess, she couldn't even choose what she wore that day. She has to grow up while moving on and accepting her new responsibilities. So, setting my own standards. MPX is a good place to set your own standards. I did MPX last year, so I had a little more practice with this particular skill, but it's 1 year of MPX working on 9 years of standard programming, so it gets a little hard. And during this project, I kept thinking to myself, this is too much. I'll never be able to get on stage and speak in front of all of those people. I haven't been to theater like a day in my life. But I learned that with enough practice, anything is possible. The standards that I put up in my head don't actually exist. We are able to do anything. So that's us practicing in the green room. And since there weren't any actual pictures of us on stage, since I was on stage at the time, I couldn't take pictures. This is me and Leo beforehand in our costumes. So, in conclusion, everybody wants to be extraordinary. We grow up thinking, I'm going to be different. But we don't. Albert Einstein defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So why isn't society taking his advice? We send our kids to the same schools where they learn the same material. No perseverance, no imagination, no curiosity. They are all basing their lives on the standards that somebody else is giving them. How can we expect to be anything but ordinary when we are all built the same? In MPX, we've set our standards for ourselves. We are expected to create our own paths of learning so we can come up with different results. So we can all be extraordinary. Thank you. Any questions?
That was 9 minutes, by the way, right on the money. Thank you.
Money.
Questions?
Question.
Out of all of your books, which one do you think you relate to most?
I really like the Cal Lindra series, the nightlife that I was telling you. It's a lot like Supernatural if anybody's been watching that. I read it like at least once a month, all like 8 books. It's my favorite. I relate to the character a lot because, you know, he like talks. He's a really good author, and he has a lot of problems that like there's bad in him, and he's trying to battle with that. While he's trying not to be like his parents, it's kind of relatable for me. Does that make sense. Did I answer your question?
So you know how you said you used to get distracted a lot? What did you do to like not get distracted? And what used to distract you?
Well, iPads are a great tool for learning, but there's also like games on them, and I like to read. So that was the distraction for me. And to not get distracted, I asked my group members, is there anything I could do to so they could give me work that I could focus on instead. It's also a lot of self-discipline. Just don't do that, Mahina. Okay.
All of your skills or artifacts that you have, which one was like the hardest to overcome?
I would have to say the self-discipline, not getting distracted, prioritizing, because that's something that I'm going to have to work on for life. I think everybody has problems with that. Sorry if you don't. But I plan to work on that for I think I've improved on that a lot this semester, and I plan on improving on it every day to come. Any other questions? Yes.
I really enjoyed how you did sort of the books as sort of coming in and out of that. As you were designing this, what was the hardest thing for you in terms of sort of telling the narrative part of your journey as a learner?
Relating the books to my learning?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's easy. Miss Davis gave us a list that we had to that we could base off of, and some of those skills were really specific, like chromatic equations or just math skills in general, because in the books nobody was doing their math homework, so we didn't relate exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned to put linear equations into that by mentioning the skill specifically. Miss Davis said that was good. She helped me with that.
Cool.
Thank you.